Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111, and welcome back to Yugo Puzzle. Since the previous episode, I've gone back and looked at the previous game I played by this developer, CounterHero, about 5 years ago. It's really good. It was short, but it's a fun game, and that one was free to play. And so I think I'm going to have links to my old videos of playing through CounterHero, which also have a link to where you can get the game in the description of this video. And so if you're interested in that, I would encourage you to check it out. Okay, I get a sense of the issue here already, maybe. What if I do just the most obvious naive thing? I already can't press this guy to the left because he can't fit through here. When he's jumping and bouncing, I need red to push him to the left. And in order to get red over there, I guess I probably have to do like at least something like this. Like, this will probably be wrong, but let's just do it. Yeah, the problem with this is now I can't ever push any of the other guys to the left, because if red goes any farther, he'll fall. And if he doesn't go farther, these guys will... can I do something? No. I can't do anything clever like this. Okay. So. Already a puzzle. And if I do something like this early... it's more interesting than I thought it was going to be, actually. But this shape could never fit in here, and the connected blues that I get wouldn't be long enough to try to connect them all the way out here. And so having a shape like this is definitely going to be a non-starter. And I presume the same is true of that. Like, we can stair-step and Tetris piece and whatnot, and it's not going to work. That really doesn't leave me a lot of options here at the beginning. I'm gonna need to get red out, which means I have to move these guys down. And so this is like the first place I could get red out. This guy can't move to the left by himself. And if I try to bring another blue down, it's going to do that. And I can't somehow get red, like, in between these guys. Actually, I could get red in between these guys, right? Well, I can do this. Here we go, here we go. And so at this point, this almost kind of works. Actually, does it work? Because you could jump over there. Red would be capable of pressing this to the left. But with a caveat, which is red would end up falling in the hole, right? Yeah. Which might be okay if the other guy was already down too. But there's no way to get the other guy down, right? Or is there? Hold on. Suppose red comes over here. The other guy could come down. He can't go to the left. I think this works, actually, because red could go here and then jump and give him the one little push that he needs. Yeah, okay. That was cool. I enjoyed that puzzle. So, greens need to not lose height from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so the 3 guys would have to go here, basically, for green. And in order to not lose that height, it feels like we need horizontal yellows that they can walk across. And in order to get horizontal yellows, this guy can't move here, so someone would have to push a yellow into the right. And that would probably be tall red who's going to push the yellow over. Oh, no. Tall red can never get out of this area. So it'd have to be a green who's pushing the yellow over. Except that's impossible because that means the green would be down here. And green can only go as low as this high. And therefore, the puzzle's impossible. Okay. Puzzle is clearly impossible. I didn't realize that those were going to come together. Let's just ignore that for right now. I just want to experiment with this bit. Namely, getting the yellow out. Okay, so that does work like that. But the screen is too low to ever be able to meet the rest of his family. So how? Could I have a weird shape green? Is it possible to... Ooh, here is something I've never really thought carefully about. How do I even set this up? What I want to know is if it's possible to have a shape like this in green. I'm calling it green, that's kind of blue too, I'm not sure. Is it possible that this shape could be like lifted up somehow? And like catch a ledge with someone else jumping underneath it? Well, I don't know that I'm going to find that out here. Because I was thinking possibly most of the greens are at this height, but one sticking out down here that would allow me to push the yellow to the right. But yeah, the way it looks right now, the only way to get yellow out is to first push yellow in. The only color that could push yellow in, red can't get down there, so it's not red. So it's got to be green. And the problem is that means that there's a green down in this level, which makes it impossible for that green to ever join the rest of his family. So could there be some other mechanic I'm not thinking of? I have a vague idea, which is something along the lines of, suppose that there is a green sitting on top of this yellow. Is it possible for him to, like, press this guy to the right somehow? Suppose it had been a too wide green, actually. If I try to go to the right, nothing happens. Is there anything useful that comes from me doing this? Not really. But I'm going to continue with this for just a moment. So suppose I do have the screen go down. I can at least kind of do part of what I was talking about before. Which is namely that this guy... he didn't even... If this guy had come out... No, he also... I was trying to see if there was a way to connect this from the bottom to the top, which still wouldn't solve the puzzle, but at least would be something different. But that doesn't seem to be happening. So what else could I do differently? This one seems like a real stumper. Oh, I just had an idea. the idea is there's another way to get a ceiling above yellow so that he can move to the right, other than just him pushing. And that is, there could be a too tall green above him, which I think is possible. So there's one of the greens. And then if another green comes down, now yellow could move to the right. Just on his own, because his ceiling, he couldn't bounce up any higher. So the good news is, I found a way to get yellow to the right that didn't involve having a green pushing from the left. The bad news is, I still ended up with a green falling down to this level. But I could have changed that too, couldn't I? Because I could do, ooh, this is interesting. Suppose I do this. Now yellow can go over here. Do you see what's happening? I see what's happening. It's me winning the puzzle. Okay, so there was something interesting to do with an angled shape, enabling it to hang off of a ledge and do something useful while it was hung off the ledge. I like that puzzle a lot. Okay. Red needs to get pressed into here. Blue needs to get pressed into here. There's 3 here, so 1, 2, 3. There's 2 here, 1, 2, and then 1 here. So it's not enough that like blue could be hanging off the ledge over here and connect up. If blue's ever hanging off the ledge, there won't be enough blue to connect it. However, if there was a very long blue, it could be sitting under here and possibly also over red's head so that red would just be able to move to the left. I think that's what I'm looking at. So I need to make a way to get a very long blue with red underneath that hasn't connected over to the right yet. That's my idea anyway, and I think I see a possible way to get there. Does this just work if I push you to the right, give you a place to hop down, and I need to, you can move one more to the right. Actually, hold on. You could move to the right already. So if you just hop down, there's one super long blue, and now since it can't move up, because it's pinned over here on the right, red can just move to the left. Yes, okay. I was visualizing the right thing. Hooray! That was a quick one. Neato Bazito. New music again. Yellow down here. So somehow we need to ferry the yellows across here and not have them fall in this pit. And there's only, 3 blues. And the yellows, furthermore, can't group up because if they grouped up horizontally or vertically, they wouldn't be able to get in here. So they have to be single yellows. So the most obvious thing to me just at the beginning is to make a little ferry boat like this. Oops. That can be used to bring a yellow... Oh, and there's also like the pushing thing. Ooh. How is that going to work? How is yellow ever getting in here? Can't be another yellow pushing, because then he couldn't fall through here. They have to stay distinct. And if it's blue... I don't see how this can work. What a surprise. Let me just fool with something here for a moment. If there was a blue up any higher, he still is incapable of pressing this guy to the right. So, how could this possibly work? Could I have a blue sitting on top of a yellow? It's at least vaguely plausible. So here's what I'm thinking. Suppose there are blue here. This yellow's already fallen down too far, but let's ignore that for just a moment. I can't do what I want to do here. As an aside, while this guy is falling, it's not the case that he combines with this one. He falls all the way. So blocks have to come to rest before they have a chance to try to join up with other blocks, it seems like. What else can I do then? So my idea was I wanted to have the two blue sitting on top of the yellow at this height. Can I get two blues sitting on top of yellow at this height? Possibly, actually, still yes. Suppose I do... Well, if it's sitting on top of a yellow, this yellow is already down too low. We could never get there. So that's not a good strategy. So... what if there's one blue at this height? Who would it be sitting on top of? If it's a blue, we'd have to be sitting on top of a yellow, and that's a non-starter because that means yellow's down here. So yellow needs to be at this height. Which means yellow's got to be sitting on blues, which are at this height. But if blues are at this height, then who's going to push the yellow to the right? Could I get a blue on top of a yellow here or something? This one seems completely impossible to me right now, so obviously I'm missing something. Okay, a new idea just popped into my head, and this was just after staring at it for another minute. Suppose I make a shape. I don't know that I can make the shape very well right now. Yeah, I'm not sure how to make this shape where I want it, but suppose I make this shape, but higher up. Now there's a platform where yellow can walk from even higher. And actually, if this were facing the opposite direction, then it would have a little pokey hole that could push the yellow to the right. Which feels kind of like what I need. So is there a way to make that shape of blue up higher? And I think the answer is yes. I think it involves... what does it involve? Somehow getting the blues together without bringing the yellows together here. Like, I want this guy to come down here, and then I want these two to form up and fall on top of him, but I don't think these two can form up the way that they are. I'm going to bring the yellows together, which is definitely, I've already lost the puzzle, but let's just experiment. Oh, also I can't get these blues down. Oops. Is there a different way to do this? If I had one of them here, this would just stack vertically, which is not going to help me. How else could I make that shape that goes up and then to the right with the blues? It feels like I would need to have a 2 wide blue that falls on top of a 1 by 1 blue. But creating a 2 wide blue in the first place is already a challenge. A 2 wide blue who's still at enough height that he could fall in the 1 by 1. Suppose... I'm trying to figure out which two blues make the horizontal bit and which one is the extra one to fall on top. Definitely the constraints that I need to keep the yellows apart are playing a big role here. Okay, let's once again ignore the fact that this yellow has fallen too far down, just so that we can do some experimentation. So this is the wrong shape. While I have it, let's just experiment with this one. Oh, right, this one falls down. That's another reason it's the wrong shape. It won't be able to do this kind of pressing. Okay, so is there a way to make the right shape from here? I think no. If I had brought this guy down first, and then thrown away this yellow. Okay, this is now what I want to play with. So if I do this, that is a way to get a yellow block in there. And so if the other yellow was still up there, I would be able to do it. And so the way I made that was by having the rightmost guy be the bottom, and then the left two come together up here and fall on top of them. So is there a way to do that without sacrificing yellow? Is there any way this guy could be part of the top section? I think no, because once he falls down here, he'd either fall in a blue and be glued in the wrong spot, or he'd fall on yellow, which means yellow is already too low. Yeah, so I think this guy has to be the bottom bit. And the problem is, if this guy is the bottom bit, then that leaves getting these two blues together up here, but the yellows are in the way, and if I try to push them together, we lose the puzzle. Is there any way to have this guy be part of the top bit? I mean, I guess he could also... Now he's part of the top bit, but now there's no way to get this guy glued on the right-hand side of this, because he'd have to have something to sit on. Ooh, unless... I can't, like, get him over this ledge over here or something. And if I brought a yellow down to sit on... Yeah, there's no way to add a blue to the upper right here that I can see. So I think I need to stare at this one for a bit. I don't know that this helps me solve the puzzle, but here's a move that I don't know I was previously aware of. When blue presses to the right, he does not, unlike when yellow moves to the right, the thing on top of him doesn't come with him, but when he presses to the right, he presses both of those blocks to the right. And so that seems like that could be a useful mechanic. Yeah, because I could leave a yellow, like, on top of a blue. Would that help me at all? I'm not sure how that could help me just yet. Okay, I think I might have something. What about this? Kind of same idea as before. Yeah, but now, okay, there we go. I made a horizontal thing without grouping the two yellows together. I think that's what I needed to do. Alright, it did take me a couple of minutes to find that for whatever reason. Like, now that I see it, it's kind of obvious. And if I push this to the right, it's still the case that this guy can go back to the left and bury the other guy. Okay, great. His shape is perfect for avoiding this hole right here. Oops, I need to move this guy in first. That is very important. There we go. I solved the puzzle. And I guess we'll try out one more. I'm kind of nervous, because that one was difficult. But maybe this one will be easier. Red needs to get here. Yellows, it looks like there's lots of easy ways to get yellows together. This bit of geometry and this little ledge here is especially suspicious to me. So if red needs to get here, red needs to not drop down too far. What is the problem with the... oh, yellow needs to be pressed through here because yellow can't hop through here. How is this yellow ever joining the other yellows? Because I don't see a way to get red on the other side of him. That seems to be the problem. The way that he could join is if he could only move to the position where red is currently, and there were sticky yellows already here, then that would be good enough. So I need to make sure the yellows get tall enough. Okay. So if I want tall yellows, then can I not just do that? So why is this insufficient, or is it? So you can push this guy in here. And then, oh, getting yellow that tall is now a problem, isn't it? Because I can do this. But yeah, now I can't get the, okay. So I need to have to stack this all the way up. Okay, so what if I did this? So now you're this tall. You can push me out over here. Then I can make this tall. Oh, but I need to do that later. First, I need to go ahead and ferry red over. He's done his job. That still didn't help me. Like, now he's tall enough, but unfortunately now he can't get over here because he's hitting his head trying to get on this corner. But if he could move to the right, so maybe I do still need red to help me? So what if I left red here? No. What if red was pushing to the right? Red pushes to the right. There we go. And then yellow pushes to the left. There we go. That's how it goes. Okay. The little bouncy thing. Oh, this is actually showing me the solution, isn't it? Because that ends up being what the solved puzzle ended up being look like. So this was intended to be a hint that I did not gather, as it were. Okay. Let's go back to level selection. I feel comfortable with the amount that I accomplished in this one. I think I had 8 previously, and I have 13, so I got 5 more puzzles done. And yeah, the puzzles just keep getting revealed as we solve more puzzles, and so I'm not sure how many puzzles there are going to be. But this is where I'll go ahead and call it a day for today. I'm going to say I hope, as always, that you all are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more Yugo Puzzle. For now, bye-bye.